가까이. 이쪽에서 하라고, 이쪽에서. 가까이 오라고. 아니, 더 이렇게 좀 와서 하면 되잖아. 팔로 뻗어서 그냥. 오케이, 됐어요? 파란 빛이 더 세지고.
지하 2층에서 5층까지 뛰어가는 죽은 줄 알았는데.
나는 건드리면 안 돼. 팔 아프니까 들어오면 들어오면. 들어오면.
마이크 테스트 하겠습니다. 하나, 둘, 셋.
I'll place it right here. I'll be outside, and then I'll follow.
No.
Thank you.
Okay. Good to see you at JTBC.
Nice to see all of you. It's been quite a long week for all of you.
Yes.
All right. How can I help?
You know what's up with JTBC? I have a question.
Sure.
I have a question.
How about I'll start here. I'll get to everyone.
Thank you so much. My question is, will you continue to lobby President Trump to sell the Blackwell chip in China?
Well, I think it's really good for the United States and for China that NVIDIA could bring AI technology to China for many reasons. One reason, of course, is that the China market is large and it's a vibrant market with a lot of developers. And those developers create AI technology that's exported from China all over the world. And so to the extent that American tech stack can run and operate those AI models, it's good for the United States around the world.
So would you want the Blackwell to be sold in China?
I hope so. But that's a decision for President Trump to make.
Well, based on the national security community's response, which was quite hostile after President Trump had floated the idea, what do you think the chances are that it actually will be approved for China?
Well, that's the concern about exporting technology to China, of course, and that's understandable. However, remember, China makes plenty of AI chips themselves, and the Chinese military surely have plenty of access to chips that are created in China. And so whatever national security concerns have to take into consideration the fact that China has blocked H20. And so in a lot of ways, China is saying that, listen, we have plenty of AI technology ourselves. And so the national security concern from that perspective, I think, is really answered by the fact that China doesn't want H20 or any American chips.
But then what's
What do you think of the current market situation? Don't you think air bubble?
There's several ways to look at it. The first thing is the computer industry is going through two platform transitions, not one. One platform transition is going from general purpose computing to accelerated computing. And that is the great invention of our company. We were able to create a new computing model that after Moore's Law has run out of steam, the world can move towards. All of the applications don't even have to be AI. It's like data processing and recommender systems and search. And many of those applications today can now benefit from accelerated computing. On top of accelerated computing, because of the performance, we created a whole new application called AI. And this AI technology is very consequential. It is very impactful for every single industry, and that is new. Probably the best way to think about the moment at this time is the technology has now evolved to be quite useful. when AI first came out, the results were quite curious and was very interesting, but not very useful. In the last couple of years, because of reasoning and agentic AI models, the AI models have now become very useful and producing answers that are very useful for people, for consumer users, as well as for companies, to the point where AI is now profitable. When AI is profitable, people want to produce more AI. That's the reason why capital investment is going up. And then let me just make one more observation, and that is, during the bubble time of 2000, most of the internet fiber was dark. But today, NVIDIA GPUs are used all over the world, so the consumption is quite high. I think we're really in the beginning. The best way to think about this, our phase right now, is that we're in the beginning of a 10-year build-out of a new computing platform, from the old approach to the new approach. And so I think it's going to be many years of quite exciting growth.
Becoming the first ever $5 trillion company, given the exuberance of our artificial intelligence. But as a CEO of the company, does that give you a little bit of pause, or do you think that reflects fundamentals? And how big of a risk is it that you're still shut out of the Chinese market?
Well, it took 30 years for us to do this, and we have invented a new computing approach. As you know, the computer has remained largely the same for 60 years since the invention of the IBM system in 360. And after 60 years, we reinvented the computer. And now we're going through these platform shifts, and AI is the most impactful technology that anyone has ever known. It is fundamentally about generating intelligence. The impact is quite extraordinary to every single industry. So I'm proud of the fact that we reinvented computing. I'm proud of the fact that we're part of a technology revolution that's impacting every field of science and every industry. And it will be impactful for every single country, including Korea, which is the reason why we're here, and why President Lee and all of the my CEO friends and companies, the giant companies here in Korea, have announced big partnerships, and we're going to launch new AI infrastructure into Korea. So I'm quite pleased about that, and I'm proud of the fact that NVIDIA is at the epicenter.
What's the potential of sovereign programs that you mentioned, especially across Asia?
Well, that's here in Korea. Korea has a chance to be one of the world's major AI hubs, and today's announcement, along with President Lee's passion, enthusiasm, drive, and all of my CEO friends who are dedicated to create this journey for Korea, this is a perfect example of sovereign AI.
We just saw you have a conversation with SK Group's Choi Tae-won. SK Group and Samsung in that rivalry right now, that you're getting business with both companies. What's the potential there?
Well, they're both friends of mine, and they're friendly competitors. Of course, competition is terrific, and Korea is going to be growing tremendously in semiconductors in the coming years. And the reason for that, as you know, Samsung and SK helped me invent the AI supercomputer. Without the HBM memory, there is no AI supercomputer. And so, I'll come back to you, I promise you.
They helped you invent
And they helped me invent the AI supercomputer, and hopefully next decade, memory technology and semiconductor growth here in Korea will be very significant. With respect to China, China is now 0% of our business. We used to have 95% share of the AI business in China. Now we're at 0% share, and I'm disappointed by that. And I hope that condition will change. But irrespective, NVIDIA is going to grow quite substantially over the next 7 years. Yes, ma'am.
One is out of American.
I grew up in Thailand.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, super good.
Okay.
I went to Room.
Okay. All right. The extraordinary questions.
we will deploy another 250,000 in just Samsung, SK, Hyundai, Neighbor, and the Korean government. And so just 5 teams will deploy another 260,000. That's very significant. After that, there's no question in my mind that Korea will build many more AI factories. Not just for the Korean industry, which is one of the largest economies in the world and one of the largest technology industries in the world, but also because Korea has a chance to be an AI hub of the region. And it has the ability to attract startups that are in other countries to be hosted on Korea AI Cloud. It also has the opportunity to attract companies to invest here. You know, if you want to be an AI company, you need to have AI infrastructure. If Korea has AI infrastructure, you can attract the investments. So I'm very optimistic about the future of AI in Korea.
Talk to us about the boundary cooperation with Samsung Electronics. Are you in a way hedging SMC?
No, hedging isn't really the right way to think
How
about
would
it.
you describe it?
We have partners that are excel at the areas of manufacturing semiconductors. It is not, as you know, I make chips. There are many companies that make chips, and we make chips in different ways for different reasons and different value propositions. And so it's the same with Samsung, and you know they're deep and excellent in their field of semiconductors. And whenever we have opportunities where our products are perfect fit for the way that they manufacture chips, we find opportunities to work together. Today, Samsung manufactures all of NVIDIA's robotics processors.
Mr. Martin,
She's already had three questions.
I'll come back.
Sorry, she's had three questions.
It was my fault.
Right, BBC News, thank you for talking to me.
I've got all night, you guys.
Will these new announcements,
I've been up since 3 o'clock in the morning, so I'm a little tired.
so will these new announcements make up for the shortfall with the Chinese market?
That's really the best way to think about it is that China is a very large market. It's very important. The developers, the vast majority of the world's open source AI is developed in China. He went to develop in China, he so on and so forth. There's so many amazing AI issues in China. They do amazing work. They do it in an open source way. And so the China market is just simply unique. It's an important market for all the reasons that I mentioned. And so there's no replacing it.
But is it justified that you're being locked out of the market because of the US-China relationship?
I just depends on where the opportunities are, where the founders decide to focus the process technology. And then second, a lot of it has to do with timing. You know, the process technology is advancing, our chips are advancing. Sometimes the roadmaps are spending time. It takes a lot of good fortune, good timing, and good alignment. There's a lot of factors involved.
Justin, one more question over here.
Can I take one over here? I'll be right back.
That could affect NVIDIA's citizens. And just share your hopes for views on the recent trade deals between two countries,
Which two countries?
U.S. and South Korea, have made trade deals, but there's remaining uncertainty about semiconductor tariffs that could affect NVIDIA's business.
You know, I'm not in politics or geopolitics, and we lead companies. The most important thing for companies is stability, whatever the conditions are. As you know, long before NVIDIA was founded, Earth had gravity, and we made it work for us. And every country has taxes. We make it work for us. And the cost of living is different in every single country, and we make it work for us. I think that whatever the tariffs are, so long as they're stable for some time, we'll make it work. And I have every confidence that the Korean companies are going to be quite agile, and we'll find a way to thrive again in the, whatever decisions are made about tariffs, we'll continue to thrive.
There's any AI JTBC cooperation with JTBC Korea, and Chairman Video and Chairman Jeong-il last night. And what did you talk about with them? Can you tell me the impressions?
Last night, it was supposed to be Jay, Yusan, and Tony and I having fried chicken. And the reason I just really love Korean fried chicken. Who doesn't love Korean fried chicken? Right? There's K-pop and there's KFC. And so last night was the first night I've been back for many years. And so I was hoping that the four of us would go out. But Tony had to stop here because he's very busy. He's the chairman of APEC, and so he could not join us last night. And mostly, we spoke about fried chicken. Yeah. And then we spoke about, they introduced me to Shomei. And I had quite a few. That's why I'm a little slow today. But we did that, and we spoke to the other guests, and we spoke to a lot of people who were outside, and we spoke to the restaurant owner. That's what we spoke about.
I thought you were closer to Samsung because Tony wasn't there.
No, all of us were hoping to.
Jensen, NVIDIA's market cap just surpassed $5 trillion recently. What do you think is mainly driving the milestone, and do you see it as sustainable?
First of all, I'm grateful that the company is valued so much. But the reason for that is because we invented a new computing approach that is the future of computing. And as you know, computing and computers is the single most important instrument of humanity today. It is important to all the people, it's important to every single industry, it's important to every single nation. And the fact that we reinvented computers for the first time in 60 years, it's quite an extraordinary thing. And so that is driving fundamentally our growth. The second is, of course, on top of that, we invented a way of computing that made AI possible. And intelligence is the most valuable commodity in the world. It's the thing we treasure most. We can now manufacture intelligence for many industries. And we see every day for chatbots, of course, but in the future we'll see intelligence for manufacturing and robotics and self-driving cars and science and digital biology and even quantum chemistry and quantum. All of that will have AI technology that So the future opportunity for us is really quite extraordinary, quite enormous. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Jensen, you mentioned
I'll be right back.
Regarding HBM4, just say how much progress we've made with the and then I was wondering about how you would evaluate the AI policies.
The AI policies for the Korean government is really important. And the reason for that is because AI requires energy, it requires land, and it requires the ability to construct factories. And all of that has the benefits from governments that are very, very supportive of AI. And President Lee is incredibly supportive of AI. He understands all of these issues. And he wants Korea to be one of the world's leading AI hubs. In fact, his hope is that his dream is that Korea is the world's leading AI hub, only behind the United States and China. And so that's a very ambitious goal, and there's no reason why Korea cannot achieve it. You have the technology, you have the software expertise, and you also have a natural ability to build manufacturing plants. Industrialization is really a core strength of Korea, and so I think this is just a fantastic opportunity, once in a generation opportunity for Korea. And there's no question that the leaders that I was with today and President Lee is 100% behind it. With respect to HBM4, as you know, we have very valued partners, and there's no reason to choose between my valued partners. I'm really hoping that they will all succeed and that we will all become very, very large. I hope that I'm going to be a gigantic customer for both of them for many years.
Don't you gain like price competitiveness though if you have all of them?
No, they treat me very badly, and both companies are long-term friends of mine, and they treat me very fairly.
Jensen, you mentioned that the Chinese government wants the H20. Yeah, so go on. So, like, can I ask you questions like this?
시작하겠습니다.
We spoke about all of it. We spoke about Korea building solid AI, Korea building AI infrastructure. We announced today that Korea will build 250,000 most advanced GPU AI factories here in the very near future. A brand new initiative that was just announced today. 250,000 GPUs is a very large number. It will be used for everything from training and creating Korea's sovereign AI, building Korea's AI startup ecosystem, supporting science and research here in Korea, of course, the government, and then all the industries, everything from healthcare to automobiles to digital twins in factories, building chips, building
the real market opportunity is for NVIDIA in China, given that the Chinese government has been signaling that it wants Chinese companies to buy Chinese chips?
That's understandable. Every country should want their companies to succeed. And China has some really extraordinary companies. Their entrepreneurial spirit, their technology speed, their innovation speed, their work ethic. And of course, you can't overstate the incredible might of China manufacturing. And so I think the Chinese companies are formidable, and they have every right to be formidable, and China has every right to want their companies to succeed.
Right, but what role would you have in there? How competitive is the B30A, for example?
I was about to answer your question, how big of a market opportunity it is. It's, I would say it's probably $50 billion this year. It's probably, call it a couple of $100 billion by the end of the decade. China is the world's second largest computer market. It is vibrant, it is growing, it is extremely modern, and it's also very competitive.
How competitive is the B30A, though?
If we want to succeed in China, we just have to be extraordinarily competitive. But I think we're putting the, if you will, the cart before the horse. I think ultimately, the U.S. government and the Chinese government have to decide what role they would like NVIDIA to play. And I think that I've been very clear that having NVIDIA technology in China is in the best interest of the United States and in the best interest of China as well. And I hope that I'm optimistic, and I hope that the right answers will emerge.
NVIDIA has a
I got a question about your investment in the U.S. I know you recently been TSM in Arizona factory. So I just wonder how many proportions of your advanced chips to be produced in the U.S.
TSMC invested in manufacturing in the United States. TSMC really today, because of that investment, has become a global company. Not just a TSMC, of course, is an incredible company, largely in China. Because of Arizona, TSMC is an incredible company that is now a global footprint. I think that's terrific. It's a real transformation of TSMC's posture, and it provides customers like ourselves diversity and resilience in manufacturing. I deeply appreciate that they're supporting NVIDIA in manufacturing in the United States. It's very important to NVIDIA that we have the ability to manufacture critical technology in the United States. And so I appreciate TSMC. I appreciate all of our partners from Spiel and Amcor and Foxconn and Wistron and many others who are going to help us build entire systems in the United States. I'm actually not sure the answer, but the thing I am sure is that NVIDIA and SK and Samsung and all of our suppliers and supply chain partners have been working together for 30 years. And somehow we always find a way to do good business together. And I have every confidence that we will do very successful business together. But the thing that you said that is most important is the growth is so incredible. The growth is so incredible. Even with all of the expanded HBM supply, we are going to be quite challenged still. So the growth that we are seeing in our business, NVIDIA's business, is growing faster. It's growing faster by the month. And so I appreciate our partners working hard to grow.
Sorry, I have one last question. One last question, so you have to go on here. How big will your China business and your China sales be with the export restrictions or without the export restrictions?
Well, NVIDIA had 95% of the China market. Today, we have 0%. At the beginning of the Biden administration, we had 95%. And the policies of that administration really caused us to lose practically the entire China market. I would guess that China is probably something like $35 to $50 billion a year to us. We're fully in that market today, and by the end of the decade, it's probably well over $100 billion. It's quite substantial, but at the moment it's zero. We're forecasting zero. We're expecting zero. We're hoping for non-zero, but we're expecting zero, and we'll do our best and continue to grow the company. Of course, around the world, the opportunity is really quite substantial. We're going through a platform shift from the old way of doing computing to this new way, NVIDIA's way of doing accelerated computing and AI. We're in the beginning of the decade journey of building out this infrastructure. I think it's going to be really a lot of growth with or without China. But the China market is very special, and we don't take it for granted, and it would be really helpful that we're in there.
Do you expect the GPS to be delivered to Korea? Or when do you expect the chips to be delivered to Korea?
The critical path for chips in Korea is actually building the factories, the data centers. And so we need power generation, and the data centers. As soon as those data centers are built, I'll make sure chips get here as fast as possible.
So the data centers will
This is your last question.
Do you remember when you made it in Taiwan next week?
I don't know if I'll see you next week. But every time I go to Taiwan, he's the first person I see. And so, Morris and Sophie is always the first stop.
What's your message for people in South Korea who admires you and your company's vision?
Well, I'm grateful for the friendship. Korea has welcomed me for 30 years of open arms. And NVIDIA was very young when I first came. We were only 50 years old. We were probably, $100 million company. It's the CEO. Korea was a very long and welcome me. But it was also quite incredible that Korea invented a whole new genre of sport. And because NVIDIA's GeForce is so important in sport, we became, if you will, the gear of choice of Korea. And a whole generation of young people grew up on NVIDIA. So we've had a very long relationship, and one that I treasure greatly. And now we have a new journey. In the beginning, it was Korea growing with NVIDIA's journey. Now it's growing with Korea's journey and the journey of AI. So I'm very grateful. I'll take this question.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Set up a field trip. Come see it today. We're in California, and we have many Thai employees in our company, and so okay, I'll take one more question. Who's going to take it? Okay, hang on a second. The last question is very important, right? Who has the last final? Who is going to ask a good question to be the last question? Is this the last? Okay, everyone is going to hear her question. Let's hear her question. We can decide whether it's a good last question. Are you sure? Her last question. Are you sure? I think they're still working on it. NVIDIA Taiwan, we have a lot of employees there, and our office space is not enough. And so we selected a very beautiful site to put NVIDIA Taiwan. And I think they're still discussing between the local government and the landowner. I don't know what the latest status is, but I do know this. All of the people in Taipei really would like NVIDIA to be in Taipei. But if we cannot find anywhere in Taipei, I have to put it somewhere. And so I hope I can put it in Taipei. Okay? Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
네, 알겠습니다.